You see, gentlemen, control creates obedience. Freedom reveals character. One gives you silence, the other gives you the truth. So what am I looking for, Donovan? Well, the answers are simple. Does she seek attention? Does she cross boundaries? Does she entertain options? Does she protect a relationship without having to be asked? You see, gentlemen, women age out of options, but men age into them. Biology does not negotiate, guys. It collects. As far as 304s, use the girls who want to be used. She knows her role, you know yours. No lies, no guilt. Get in, get off, get out, get on with your life. But a soft woman, a respectful woman, a feminine cooperative woman, a woman who doesn't raise her voice, a woman who doesn't catch an attitude over nothing, she moves his entire world with a whisper. A man will fight the world for a woman who is good to him, but he will not lift a finger for a woman trying to compete with him. A submissive woman never demands anything. She doesn't have to. Why? Because a man offers willingly, eagerly, almost instinctively. She doesn't try to control him loudly. Instead, she influences him quietly. And an uncomfortable truth is that phones are extensions of the female nervous system. If she really wanted to reply, it would have taken 5 seconds max. Silence is not confusion, guys. It's too controlling, but when I talked to him on our last consult, he totally went overboard with it, trying to control her every move, and that's just not feasible, guys. Never try to control a woman because you simply cannot control any person's every move. Instead, let her do exactly what she wants, because that is how you find out what she actually respects. You see, gentlemen, control creates obedience. Freedom reveals character. One gives you silence, the other gives you the truth. When you try to police her behavior, you never really learn who she is. All you're doing at that point is just managing appearances until the resentment starts to build, and eventually the relationship will come to an end, just like that consultation client I told you guys about. A woman who respects you doesn't need rules. She self-regulates because she values the connection. So give her freedom, then sit back and watch closely, because what she chooses when there's no pressure, that's the real answer. So what am I looking for, Donovan? Well, the answers are simple. Does she seek attention? Does she cross boundaries? Does she entertain options? Does she protect a relationship without having to be asked? Men who try to control women aren't strong. They're just afraid of what the freedom might expose. And one of the unbreakable truths that most men are grossly unaware of is that respect isn't enforced with women. It's volunteer. So anything that must be enforced was never real to begin with. Let her actions speak, gentlemen. Words lie, promises adjust, but behavior stays honest whether she knows it or not. So the quick math is that you should never try to control a woman. Instead, observe her. Freedom is the test, her choices are the results. Choose accordingly. Well, and they're always the last to know, which is funny to witness in real time. But women like this are always in denial about their declining sexual market value, and they do this in many ways, not the least of which is disagreeing with hard truths regarding a man's options. Women are not going to want to hear this, but men in their 30s and 40s hold the golden ticket of the dating market. Most women won't admit it, most women will hate it, but very few of them understand this unbreakable truth, and these are the women who have an inherent advantage over women who choose to remain willfully ignorant. As a man in your 20s, you're potential. In your 30s and 40s, you're the proof. And that's the difference between being promising and being dangerous. Young women see a man in his 30s or 40s and think seasoned, stable, capable. You've survived long enough to be taken seriously. Older women, on the other hand, see the same men and think prime, vigorous, desirable. And the reason for this is because they know that you still have time. But more importantly, they also know that you now have the leverage. And that is when the market flips completely. You see, gentlemen, women age out of options, but men age into them. Biology does not negotiate, guys. It collects. And this is the apex of male selection power. Your value isn't hypothetical anymore. It's visible, measurable, and now it's verified by results. Your options now span over multiple generations, which, incidentally enough, is not unlike the 20-year-old who can choose from an entire spectrum of men from different generations when they're at their prime. But there is one distinct difference, and that difference is that she has options simply because she exists. But your options exist because you've earned it. This is exactly why desperation looks terrible on men in their 30s and 40s. If you're still chasing at that age, you have failed the exam. You didn't stack your money, you didn't stay in shape, you didn't work as long and as hard as you should have, but most of all, you didn't learn dating wisdom. Instead, all you did was chase ass using the faulty tools your mom gave you, and now you're in your 30s chasing women you have no business even approaching. But a man in his 30s who did put in the work, that guy's not chasing attention. He's not proving himself, and he's not begging for desire. And everyone can feel it, men and women alike. That's why they act different. That's why the tone changes. That's why respect shows up for them uninvited. So while women may peak sooner and much harder, we peak later and we stay there. And make no mistake, guys, nothing burns hotter or brighter than a woman's prime. but it is short-lived and it burns out rather quickly. A man's peak may not be quite as persuasive as a woman's prime, and it may not burn as hot or as bright, but when we do reach our peak, it lasts a lot longer. And if you played your cards right, your 30s are not the beginning of your decline like a woman's. They're the beginning of your men simply do not categorize women properly, and it ends up costing them. But I'm not talking about the two main categories, which of course are potential relationship material and recreational use only. I'm talking about all the girls in between. So here's what you do with certain kinds of women. Flirt with every attractive girl you come across. This keeps you sharp, unattached, and dangerous. As far as the girl you actually care for is concerned, date that girl. Not because she's perfect, but because she makes you feel something real. As far as 304s, use the girls who want to be used. She knows her role, you know yours. No lies, no guilt. Get in, get off, get out, get on with your life. As far as the girl who loves you, marry her. Not the one you chase. Not the one who excites you. No, marry the girl who chooses you every day. Men who mix these roles completely destroy their lives, and trust me when I tell you guys, I have come dangerously close many times over the years. We marry desire, we fall in love with lust, and we actually reward indifference. Order matters. Roles matter. Discipline matters. You confuse them too often and you will pay for doing the wrong thing to keep a man, but what most women are grossly unaware of is that submission actually controls the man. Let me repeat that. A submissive woman actually controls the man. That statement alone filters intelligence. Most of you will not understand this, but for the few who will, listen up. Men don't commit to noise. They don't commit to loudmouths. They don't commit to attitude, and they damn sure don't commit to ego and heels. This is the kind of behavior that repels masculine men. But a soft woman, a respectful woman, a feminine cooperative woman, a woman who doesn't raise her voice, a woman who doesn't catch an attitude over nothing, she moves his entire world with a whisper. You see, ladies, submission isn't weakness. It is influence dressed up as peace. And this is a psychological advantage older than empires. A man will fight the world for a woman who is good to him, but he will not lift a finger for a woman trying to compete with him. Modern women think power lives in attitude. Wrong. Power lives in softness. That's how a man bends without ever feeling broken. The loud woman gets attention, but the feminine woman gets commitment. Different games, different ceilings, different outcomes. Masculine men simply do not respond to female pressure. They respond to feminine peace. Ladies, if you give a man peace, he will move mountains for you. A submissive woman never demands anything. She doesn't have to. Why? Because a man offers willingly, eagerly, almost instinctively. Women didn't lose power randomly. They lost it when they tried to act like men. And the hard truth is that the women of yesteryear had far more power and influence back in the day than the bitchy entitled wannabe boss babes have today. The ones who stayed feminine, those are the ones who enjoy the fruits of the kingdom. She doesn't try to control him loudly. Instead, she influences him quietly. A submissive woman doesn't lose power when she submits. She acquires influence with the man. Ask me, well, what if she genuinely didn't see my message? And my answer to that was, trust me, she saw your message. Guys, women are glued to their phones all day, so they do not miss messages. They miss interest. And an uncomfortable truth is that phones are extensions of the female nervous system. If she really wanted to reply, it would have taken 5 seconds max. Silence is not confusion, guys. It's priority. As men, we tend to overthink delays, but women use them intentionally. Because in the dating world, time is leverage and attention is currency. When a woman really likes you, response time disappears. Busy women reply the fastest to the men they value. No reply isn't disrespect. It's information. She is telling you exactly where you rank without actually having to tell you. Chasing after silence never increases attraction. It simply confirms what she already believes, which is you're waiting. So the quick math here is that you should match energy or withdraw access. Interest should feel mutual, not negotiated. She saw the text and she chose not to answer. Believe actions, guys, not excuses.